welcome to our today's presentation. Very happy to see so many people that have joined us during this live session. My name is Alina. I'm an Education USA advisor, and here is Education USA Virtual with another interesting webinar. We had a lot of subscribers and a lot of registrants for this webinar, so I really hope that you're going to be very active addressing your questions in the comments box. So, as you already know, the topic of our today's webinar is SAT, a very popular topic specifically for those students who are applying this fall for their undergraduate degree. And we have invited the speaker that I very much like to work with. It's Matthew from College Board. Thank you so much, Matthew, for joining us today. I really appreciate you making time to present and to respond to the questions that our students have.
Always my pleasure. It is so great to be able to speak to students directly. We have all kinds of wonderful resources for students to do well on the SAT. Sometimes you just don't know that they even exist. And so I am here to share them all with you. We even have a new one since the last time me and Alina met, and it's probably the best one yet. So I'm very excited to share it and to give you guys just a good overview of everything you need, because the SAT is very important for applying into the United States. Alina, does that look good?
Yes, perfect.
Cool. I can no longer see anything but the presentation.
Great.
Cool. It's very important to have the SAT now. It's a lot of news coming from the United States about its importance. With everything else that's changing in the world, it's becoming very, very difficult for universities to be able to trust the essays that are coming in because of the use of AI. But there's no AI for the SAT exam. Sorry to break that news if you didn't know that. There's no way that you can use AI on it. But what you can do is use some of these tools in order to practice to do really well on the SAT. And then I can also speak about go into more depth about some of the other strategies and things you could talk about. But we have all kinds of resources for you to use for free to do really well on the SAT. And that is what we're talking about today. So just going to start a little bit by why it's important for students outside of the US. So it's always kind of a controversy or always a conversation in the United States. Should we have standardized testing for getting into universities? Is it fair? Is this something that's going to help students? And a lot of recent news, and there's even more than here. This is now old news that I'm showing up on the screen. Many universities have realized over time that the SAT provides a very good objective measure that if they don't know your individual school, they don't really know how education works in a country like Moldova or Azerbaijan, they do have the opportunity of just seeing an SAT score, which is the same all around the world, no matter where you take it. And so it's increasingly become a very important central tool for universities to be able to judge students who are coming to the university, which also makes it more fair for you all living outside of the United States, because it's an opportunity for you to show that even if you don't have all of the resources and all of the awareness and background that students in the United States might have when it comes to university, you do have a clear signal that you are prepared for university based on your SAT score. Maybe you've done very, very well in high school. Maybe you got all A's. That's great, but it's very hard for a university in the United States to just know exactly what that A means for your individual school. So if you have all A's and then you also have a great SAT score, that's just going to make them feel a lot more confident about the score, the grades that you did have when you were in school. Almost 90% of students from a couple of years ago, when they had their SAT scores, it helped confirm their strength as a student, or it actually showed that they were even a better student than the other pieces of their application that they had. So what are those other applications of applying to university in the United States? So I'm sure Lena has gone over this if you've spent any time counseling with her. There's many things that you need to submit as you apply. And there's, of course, your grades from school, a standardized test like the SAT, your English language proficiency with a TOEFL test or IELTS, your class rank. These are all really, really important parts. And then there is, of course, curriculum rigor. So have you taken higher courses, college level courses like AP? We need to know about your background, what kind of a school you actually go to, what kind of country you live in, what kind of resources you have or don't have access to. And then you'll even have to show things like a personal statement, which you write about why you want to go to that university, letters of recommendation from teachers. So all of these parts come together in what we call a holistic framework, which just means like all parts to get a really complete picture of you. But the thing about the SAT is that it helps give a really objective. So a lot of these things are subjective, they're qualitative, they're about things about you that are intangible or complex. But the SAT is just a really strict score. A university will have a very direct score, and they'll say like the middle 50% of students who go to the school get this score on the SAT. So that not only helps them understand whether you would be ready to go to attend that school, but you can also get a really good idea of what schools would work for you. Everybody has a dream about going to one of the Ivy League schools in the United States, but if your SAT is not anywhere close to the score of the most students that are there, you probably wouldn't have a good time. It would probably be very frustrating and challenging for you, as opposed to getting an SAT score that fits very well or is higher than the score of the average students at the university. That's going to put you in line to have a really, really successful time at university, and as well going to give you opportunities for scholarships. I think one of the best ways to get scholarships to study in the United States as an international student would be from having a very strong SAT score. So that's why this is all very, very important. It is one piece of information that you give to the university, but it is something that's a lot more clear and direct than many other parts of your admission. Great. So what is the digital SAT like? Maybe you have already kind of looked into it a little bit, but what is it going to actually look for you? And what is it made up of when you are going to be signing up to register for the SAT test? So there are 2 sections, and in each section is contained of 2 modules. So the first section here, this is all stuff that on the right side, this is what it looks like now. This is when we changed from it being a paper and pencil test to a virtual test. The reading and writing section has 54 questions, and you do that just over about an hour. And those questions are discrete, which means every question and answer on the test is going to correspond to one text. And that text is usually pretty short, about a few sentences or one paragraph, so that you can kind of see everything at the same time. So everything on your screen will be presented at one time. That does not mean that it is easier than it used to be. Sometimes you're going to have to really read in depth these texts, and they're going to be very complex. They may have not only difficult words, but complex ideas that we're asking you to analyze and to understand. So that'll take about an hour. And then similarly for the math section, you're going to have about 44 questions, and those take about 70 minutes. About 3/4 of those are going to be multiple choice questions, and then 1/4 of them will be student produced response, which means like you're actually going to type in the answer on your computer. Now, these last 2 slides have kind of shown that the test used to be much longer. It used to be about 3 hours, and we've been able to take it down to 2 hours, which is a much more
Hello, everyone. We're very sorry. Matthew has some internet connection issues, so we will have to reschedule, I guess, this session because there is no response from him. I'm very sorry about that. So we'll have to end the meeting now, but I guess we can just answer the questions that you have sent us in advance by responding you via an email. So you can write us an email in case if you still have questions about your SAT, and we'll try to reschedule this session as soon as possible, considering the availability Matthew will have. So sorry about that. It's not a thing that is depending on us, definitely. So we'll try to do our best to make it as soon as possible. Thank you so much once more, and have a great end of the day.